Welcome to the Path to Purpose interview show, where we share our unique and universal stories about finding and fulfilling our purpose. My name is Katja, and I'm your host and a mentor for Lightworkers. My intention for this show is to inspire you on your path to purpose. And today, I have a pleasure to interview my friend Monica Bijoux, who is a coach, speaker, and consultant. She is the founder of Decide to Move Coaching and Consulting Services and helps already successful entrepreneurs and business owners to boost their business success, increase financial wealth, and finally live a life of freedom. That sounds amazing, doesn't it? And she's all about transformation, change, growth, transition, and development. And today, she's promised to share her best tips on how you can move from where you currently are to where you are destined to be. So let's get started here. So welcome, Monica. I'm so excited to have you here.
Hi, Katja. I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
It is our pleasure to have you here. So could you please tell a little bit about you? I suggest introduce you very shortly and also share where you are located so we can put you on the map.
Yes, so I'm Monica and Bijoux, and I thank you for saying my name the way that you did. You said it perfectly.
Oh, thank
Most
you. I
people,
was nervous.
yes, most people say it, so many different ways, but it's French. It means jewel, and so that kind of tells a little bit about who I am because I always look for the jewel in other people because of the fact that so many times people don't focus on other people's gifts, and so that's my gift is finding that sweet spot for them. But I'm currently located in Wichita, Kansas. I'm not from here. I'm originally from Louisiana with the last name Bijoux, Creole. And so I ended up here by way of another thing that I'm involved in. And so basically for me, I've been involved in a lot of different things. I've moved in a lot of places. Like I've lived in California, lived in Missouri. I've lived in North Carolina. And then now I'm here and I've lived overseas for 6 years. And so I love to travel and I love meeting new people and just learning about culture and different things like that. So that's me. That's who I am and what I like to do.
So we can put many things, many
Yes,
places
many
on the
places,
map.
many places.
I love that. I love traveling as well. And I love the name of your company, Decide to Move, because it is a lot about decision. And then we start moving. So I'd love to hear a little bit of the backstory. Was there a special event that led you to this path and led you to found your company?
Yes. And actually I love telling this story because of the fact that the way that it happened so organically. It's kind of like from a spiritual place, it just dropped into my lap. So I was doing my human resource before I started my master's in human resources. I love to volunteer. I love helping people. So there was this business owner, he owned a computer store and I just, we were friends and I would go in his shop and I would be like, God, it's such a mess. And then I'm seeing the way that he dresses and just the way that he interacted with customers. And so he was making money like $100 here, $200 there, because not only would he fix computers, but he also built computers. And so he would do like home visits and stuff like that. So a couple times he would let me go what I call a ride along, go on his trips with him. And so after watching him for a while, I started like me being me, needing to help, wanting to help people get to where I know, like I see your potential, I see your growth, I see what you can be, and I see so many things that he was not doing that was stunting that. So I started helping him and, helping him fix his company, giving him little, tips, strategies, and different things like that. Now, mind you, I'm just doing this out of the kindness of my heart. It wasn't like I had a book or a manual. I just saw things that he can do, that potential. So fast forward, I then had to do a presentation for like, they're like, you're a change agent. You actually have to go into a business and you're helping them change, develop, and grow. And so write a paper and then do a presentation on it. So me being me, I pray over everything. I was like, Lord, I don't know what I have to do with the presentation. It's due tomorrow because I'm a procrastinator. it's it's due tomorrow. I was actually had abdominal surgery too, so I was in a lot of pain. I took my little one Percocet because I can't take pills. And so I was like, I just need help. And so all of a sudden, all these steps started dropping in my spirit. And I just took a notebook and started writing them down. And I had my laptop and wrote them down. So I got a couple hours sleep, woke up the next day, and I just started taking each letter and putting a picture with it. And got to like a slide where I actually wrote down each step. It spelled decide to move. And I realized that each step it was a action step that helped a person start making transformation. And it was literally what I did with this person without me even realizing it. So I was like, thank you, Spirit, for giving me the ability to like have the actual steps of what I do for other people. And so from there, and that was like 13 years ago. I didn't do anything with it. I just, started using those strategies for myself. And then finally, when it was time for me to start my business, I said, that's the name that it has to be, because it encompasses exactly what we as business owners want to do. Most of us don't go into business to be like just to make money. Yes, we want that, but we want to make a change. We want to help someone. And so decide to move became what it is. So
Oh, wow.
yeah.
I love that. Yeah, and it kind of gives you the framework, which was actually one of my questions as well, like, what is your approach? But you just got that download, like, ta-da, here it is.
Yeah, and that's what I use. And it like I literally start from one step at a time, and it becomes doable instead of just saying, okay, you got to do this. And so one of my special gifts, and I'm so grateful that I have that, is my ability to, like, when I'm talking to a person, I'm able to hear and go from the spiritual standpoint of what's really like, what are they saying? What are their needs? Who are they? And so when I'm helping them with strategies and giving them action plans, I'm giving them stuff that's based on their personality and who they are, instead of just something that sounds like the next greatest thing to do. And so it helps my clients go execute a lot easier because of the fact that it's something that they feel comfortable with.
Yeah,
So
I love that. And I love the word doable. So, like, helping to make that bigger calling purpose more doable. Like, how are you taking those steps forward to move towards it?
yes.
And what I'd love to hear from, are you using these steps for yourself as well? Has,
Yes.
has
Yes,
this
'cause
been,
it's for your personal and your professional development. So that's what's so great about it, because everything that you do in your business is usually, hopefully you're doing it for yourself too. And you can't, for me, help other people do something that I'm not doing myself. I'm also a therapist as well. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. And so it's easy because I also can use these strategies in my actual profession as well. So my clients always say, I don't know, like, I see my clients getting better, and then I'll see other therapists not so much, and then they'll end up having to refer their clients over to me. It's because of the fact that I have, like, one, I go from where they are, right, and then help them where they're destined to be by using little small steps and strategies to get there.
mm. And I know you are also a co-author of the book Propel, the
Propel.
essential
Yes.
Propel, the essential handbook for emerging women in business and leadership. So how did you get involved with this project?
Yes, so I'm a co-author of actually two books. So in this particular book, I actually was part of a program called Platform Builders. And so with there, what we were required to do is write a chapter about your life, your story, and how it either helped you in your business or it helped you be a better leader. Now, I could have wrote one about business, right, because of the things that I've been through. But what I did was, instead, I used my chapter It's called From Scars to Leadership. And I talked about the trauma, some of the things that I've been through in my life and how those things made me a better leader. Take, for instance, I've actually, been through some traumatic things in my life. One of the things is at the age of 15, my mother put me out. I ended up having my daughter at 17. And dealing with the trauma and dealing with adversities, a lot of times what we tend to do is use that as an opportunity to become victims. We use that as a way of like shunning people, not trusting other people, not putting ourselves out there. But instead, what it ended up causing me to do is, because of the fact that I went through stuff, yes, you're hyper alert, you're more attentive to what's happening around you, but I took that and used it as a way of me being more attentive to the people that I serve and people I'm around, so I can tell when something is going on with one of my employees, compared to me saying, well, I don't trust them. They don't like, going through that whole negative thing. And
Mm.
so I can go to them and say, hey, what's going on? What do you need help in? Because I can sense when something is happening. Instead of me using it as a way of saying I'm keeping people away from me. So that is, you'll have to read the book in order to get all the story. But yes, that's some. And then what's great is a total of 12 women that pretty much tell their story as well, and how they actually either became good leaders or business and gave strategies and tips and stuff like that as well. So
Mhm.
yeah.
And thank you for sharing that, because often it is like our own life lessons that really are the teachers for us as well, and so that then we can support and help others.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear that there is like such a young age, a lot of things happening in your life, and then
Yeah.
you went through it and you found a way to
Mm-hmm.
work through it and find the where you are destined to be. And I
Yeah.
know you are still on the journey, like going ahead, but already now, like having this successful business and writing and speaking and doing what you love. So that is amazing.
Thank
And now I'd love to ask, because you work with so many people who come to you that feel that they are somehow stuck. So what would be, if there are any like common signs that person is stuck? So if they are listening now, so like, okay, like have these three things to check, like I feel stuck now, because sometimes we might try to bypass that like, no, I'm okay, but then you are not really moving forward. And I believe one of the first things is always to have the awareness, and then we can start deciding to move. But have you noticed that there would be some main things or signs that somebody is stuck?
Yes. And you said the same thing. So when you think about the word decide, even though it's an acronym, each letter is a step, right? It's 6 steps in the word decide. It's really, the word decide itself it's about mindset. And when people are stuck, it's really about self-doubt, limiting beliefs, things that they've gone through in their life that's kept them thinking that they can't go to the next level. And the reason that I say I work with already successful entrepreneurs, because you have you have entrepreneurs who've experienced something in their life, like they've been successful, they know that they're able to do it, but then now they're going through a shift or transition, or something happened. They could have had lost a loved one, or they had a baby, or they something happened in their life. It doesn't always necessarily mean it's bad, but something changed where now they're either going in a new direction, or they're starting their business, or restarting, or at a point where they're finding their purpose. But then whenever we make a change, we go through confidence stuff. Like, we struggle with confidence. We're not really sure if people are gonna, is this the right direction? Does people really want to hear what we have to say? Am I work going down this path? So all these limiting things start happening. The first step is, one, like you said, awareness, but really start digging deep and finding out what are those limiting beliefs, so that way we can stop that tape recorder, rewind it, and come up with a new message, right? And helping you get to that path. So that's the very first thing.
Yeah. And that is like our mind. It is a beautiful tool and servant, but if it can also, if we are not aware, it can work against us, because we might
Mhm.
carry these thoughts that actually are blocking us to move forward. So what could you share some examples of those limiting thoughts, like that people might say, oh, I know that one. So
Yes. So some of those limiting beliefs can be like, I'm like I said a little bit earlier, I'm not good enough, or what
mm,
if I'm not successful? If you have you are a coach, because every coach has a coach, right? At least really good ones. We all need someone to help us. So say if a person struggles with confidence in one area, they're like, well, maybe I'm not trained to help other people. I'm struggling with my own stuff. Well, most of us do. Most of us get in our own heads, and they need that person to help get them out of their head, and then help them kind of, okay, let's put you over here now, because that right there no longer serves you any good. So it's really having that person, having that coach to help you get out of your head while you're helping other people, and not so you have that a lot. Self-doubt is huge, like I was saying before, doubting that, am I able to actually do this? Am I trained? Am I ready? Does anybody care what I have to say? And I always ask a person, the blessing, and especially when you're serving your purpose, how many people are missing out because you're afraid to do what you were destined to do? How
well,
many people are missing out? And then also, what are you missing out on when you're not doing what you're supposed to do? Because most times, if we're not serving our purpose, we're miserable, we're sad, we're feeling like something is missing. You can make 7 figures, but you'll still feel like something is missing and not really reach where you want to go until we actually get get clear that mindset and get you on the right track.
wow,
So
those are really powerful questions to ask. And I think that could be also a great first step to checking
mm-hmm,
those questions that you just shared. Like, okay, what are my answers here?
mm-hmm.
And I truly, as a first step as well, if you want to move forward, would be, of course, contacting Monica, because that would be the easiest way to get that support. But if somebody's like, okay, I want to aim to do things on my own, what could be then the first step there?
Yeah, well, and actually, even if you want to do things on your own, you can always do like a strategy call, like a check-in, and say, okay, this is what I want to do. Do you see that I'm going in the right direction, or is there something else that's missing? Because a lot of times we do want to do things on our own because, one, we think we're saving money, or I can't afford it, or I've gotten so much training. I know for me, it's like I've invested in so much. Now I'm just ready to execute, but there's something missing. And so literally I feel like, even if you feel like you're ready to do it on your own, then ask yourself those questions and find out what's missing and what are some of the thoughts that have in your head. Doing a little list. This is what I'm thinking I'm having going on, or this is why I don't want to get started. And then sometimes you'll look and go, what am I doing? Right? What am I doing? I'm afraid to stand up, or this person doesn't care. Okay, so what? And if they don't, what do you do from then? Right?
Mm,
People also deal with fear. And for me, fear has two different definitions, right? One of them is false evidence appearing real. That means that you have something that's people told you that's really not truthful, but in your mind, it seems very real. And the other one is failure expected appearing real. Like you already set yourself up that you're not going to be okay. You're going to fail. So you don't even get started.
mm.
But being that we're spiritual and we're light workers and we're people about healing, we know that all we have to do is do that affirmation and speak the truth to ourselves. And then that way we can make that manifest. Just the same way you use fear, you can use I am going to be as successful. Just change the words and use meditate on that every single day until you start feeling and believing it.
Thank
So
you for sharing those. Those are beautiful ways. And of course, now if there are people like, okay, I actually want to move forward and I want to contact you, what would be the best way to contact you and find more about your work?
Yeah, so to even schedule a call, like I have several different free calls that you can contact me for. You can just go to bit.ly, bit.ly, and then // call with Monica, and that'll take you straight to my scheduler. You can also find me on Facebook under Monica M. Bijoux. I also have Decide to Move on Facebook. I'm on Decide to Move on Instagram and on Twitter. And then the place that I hang out a lot, sorry guys if you're listening, but for women I have a group that's called Confident Professional Women Circle, and I find I'm in there a lot. Like tonight I'll be doing a spotlight interview with one of the members in the group, so it allows them to spotlight what they do and talk about their stuff. And Katja is going to be on it soon, so just be looking out. And so just giving them an opportunity to share who they are, and get comfortable even speaking and stuff like that, because some people don't feel comfortable, but they feel comfortable in a smaller group. So yeah.
Yeah, and thank you for offering that call. That is such an amazing gift. So I
Mhm.
definitely would now recommend to go and check it out. I also put the link to the comments below so you can see it from there and just click and get that call booked, because that can just start a shift and really start helping you to move forward. And now we are coming towards the end of our time together here. So I'd love to ask you, Monica, do you have a special message that you would like to share?
Yes, and actually, before I go into that, there's something else that I want to do for your audience. I'm gonna have you drop the link below, but it's called Millionaire Mindset, and it's basically it's a workbook, but then there's also some affirmations for a person who said, "I want to be a millionaire," and understand it doesn't focus on money; it focuses on all the things that you need to do from a mindset standpoint to help you get to that place. And so I will definitely make sure that you have that, so that way they can actually get free downloads as well.
Wow, thank you. Thank you
You're
for your
welcome.
generosity.
Most definitely. So the word that I always use goes back to my business. I always say that you can either be a product of your environment or a fruit of your labor. You decide. And I always tell people decide to move. And what I mean with that, when I say you can be a product of your environment, that means something has happened in your life, something has kept you stuck, and you do absolutely nothing about it. So therefore, you end up staying in that place. But if you choose to be a fruit of your labor, that means the work that you do, the people you surround yourself with, the affirmations that you do, the meditations that you do, you are doing something to take yourself to the next level and go from where you are to where you're destined to be. So, once again, don't be a product of your environment, be a fruit of your labor, and continue to decide to move in your life.
Wow, thank you so much, Monica, for your time and all that you do. I love your work and love to see you shine and share your gifts with the world.
Thank you so much. It's been great being here with you and your audience.
And thank you for watching Path to Purpose interview show. If you want support on your path to purpose, you can also join Lightworkers Who Succeed on Purpose community on Facebook. And I am sending you so much light and love. So subscribe to this channel to get information when the next episode is up. And you might also want to check the previous episode where we talked about manifestation with my guest. And I am sending you lots of light and love. Stay well and bye for now.